Y'all, I'm on my way to Waukegan, Illinois. Got a load to pick up from there and take it to Wisconsin. I'm actually leaving Wisconsin. That's where I started out today, in a place called, what was that? Fucking, I don't know. Somewhere in Wisconsin, goddamn. The names is just getting to be out of control for me to even keep up with, really. Somewhere in Wisconsin. I'm going to Waukegan. I'm going back up to Wisconsin after I leave Waukegan. I figured I would come in, talk to y'all about some shit that I've been noticing out here that we knew was coming. I'm going to be talking about fear bonding. Now, some of you may say, Rob, what exactly in the fuck is fear bonding? It's a process that I've watched the human being be complacent in, almost. I mean, if we're not scared of something, then many will feel as though you don't really have a true purpose here. I remember in my lifetime, I was my most fearful when I was subscribing to Christianity. I was at my most fearful then, and I joke on Christians now when I talk about how scared they seem to be, how much faith they don't seem to have in the face of adversity. Adversity, they don't feel like they can topple themselves, and when they telling Jesus to take the motherfucking wheel, apparently that's just something they say for sheer comic relief, because they don't really believe in that mentality. I remember being, when I was a Christian, and being terrified, of, whether or not I was going to end up in hell, whether or not I was doing what I was supposed to do to go to hell. I needed to talk to God to explain what I did at around 12:30. I know it was some pussy I wasn't supposed to get, and I know you told me to wait to marriage, but stall me out, right? Most people, a lot of times, they're going to be giving themselves or praying that, the Lord forgives them on these stall me out type of prayers. You are trying to explain yourself to your would-be Lord and Savior. You're always scared that you're not doing good enough. I remember those times, and I remember Christians bonding on that mentality. You scared? I'm scared too. You ain't trying to go to hell? Me neither. Amen. Fear bonding. And if you watch the human's behavior throughout history, you notice a couple things. You notice that our people, especially in the era of the media and it'd be newspaper, radio, television, live vision, we understand these things at this point. We understand the effectiveness of media creating certain frenzies, causing people to behave in certain ways. I went to a Walmart the other day, and you've been seeing on any TV you can see, any establishment you walk into that's got a TV on, there's something about the coronavirus going on, right? I go into a Walmart the other day to grab me some shit, because I'm out here on the road. You gotta get you some shit every once in a while. Going to grab me some shit, and shit's not there to be grabbed. Ain't no shit to be grabbed in that motherfucker. And, and I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this, and you hear people talking about how stores are run out of supplies, and, people in there wiping shit out. You're hearing about this right now. And people are surprised by this, almost they're acting surprised by this, as if they haven't studied the effect of fear. When we talk about fear mongering, I shared with you guys on Instagram, I think it was maybe last week, where I got into a conversation with a trucker about the coronavirus, and that motherfucker got mad at me because I wasn't scared. Another black man, which is sad to see, that black man be mad about another black man not being afraid. That doesn't make sense to people. The human being, because we are wired in fear, and because we have this fear bonding and certain behaviors that we display and exhibit on a mass scale. If you study sociology, you'll see a lot of the things that we do as groupthink. Some people would deem people as sheeple, even, is doing anything because they've been directed to do anything. If the shepherd was to convince these sheep to walk over to a motherfucking cliff, those sheep gonna walk clean down that cliff. That's what they're going to do. They're going to walk clean off that motherfucking cliff. They don't know none the wiser. That's what they're going to do because that's what they're being led by their shepherd to do. That's how it works. So I've had this black man get mad at me about me not being afraid of the coronavirus. If I'm not going to be terrified of pneumonia and the flu every day, if I'm not going to have basic hygiene. I mean, this is what we're talking about here. We're talking about basic hygiene, and we're dealing with people with weak or compromised immune systems. These are the people that are going to be most susceptible to any form of diseases or viruses, right? This is what we should know already, right? But anytime the media gets involved, the Walmarts, the Targets, the Costco's, the grocery stores, they're going to be wiped out. Because that's just something that people do. It's a part of the social engineering machine. You've been socially engineered to behave in certain ways during times of panic. You weren't born conducting yourself that way. You learn to conduct yourself that way. And I want to know where the fuck the meeting was that told everybody everything's going to be all right. Get some tissue. Where was I? I feel like I missed a meeting because my whole life I've been a part of social engineering just like everybody else. I missed that motherfucking meeting. Well, if you just get tissue, then you gonna be all right. I missed the motherfucking memo. Right? Motherfuckers out here buying tissue like there's ever been any survivor of any type of epidemic or pandemic. And they were like, it was the tissue. The tissue really, really held me down when shit was looking grim. When I felt like I was on my last, it was the tissue. That's never happened. This is a part of the erratic behavior that we conduct ourselves in constantly. And we see nothing wrong with it. I have people that are feeling some type of way. Every conversation I've had about the coronavirus, I've had people be almost mad, like I'm disrespecting them for not being afraid. The same way a Christian will get mad and feel like you're disrespecting them if you're not afraid of hell. Because it's not a real thing, right? When you're not scared enough, people will treat you like something's wrong with you. Even though if you look throughout history and you look at the epidemics and pandemics that have taken place, people were scared as fuck. But their fear did not actually help them deal with the situation. When we're talking about immune systems, actually stress weakens your immune system. Now, this is a fact that no one really cares about. You being scared makes you weak, makes you susceptible to viruses, to diseases. But this is not a fact that's going to be shown on the media. Because the media has every reason to want you to be scared. They're doing their job. Their job is to keep you scared. It's not to educate you. It's not to enlighten you. It's to keep you in a perpetual state of fear in an effort to be able to control you. Because the more scared you are, the easier to control you are. Governments know this. Media understands this. You're easier to control. You're easier to give up certain what would be inalienable rights because now you're scared. So now they can come do whatever they want. And they can tell you they're doing it for your own, for your personal safety, for the safety of the so-called, the would-be America 3Ks don't get this shit fucked up, incorporated for its inhabitants. It's for you. I'm taking your rights for you. It's going to benefit you. And now we see them shutting down certain events. You have sporting events shutting down. which, you know, doesn't make any fucking difference to me. I don't engage and watch and give a fuck about social events. I seen today clubs and bars are shutting down. Again, not give a fuck, or not a fuck that I'm going to give about that, because clubs and bars are trash to me anyway. I don't think that's where people should be. What does bother me, though, is them shutting down schools. And it wouldn't be them shutting down schools. It's the fact that they're shutting down schools, but not shutting down jobs. You see? Because at the end of the day, we're looking at a capitalistic society that don't give a fuck about you, don't give a fuck about your health, don't give a fuck about your kids. They don't give a shit about you, but they're going to want to make that bottom line. My kids will be taken out of schools. They're not about to call and say, hey, we shutting schools down. Y'all parents, I understand, you know, y'all need to stay at home with your kids. Y'all just wait it out. We're going to shut everything down. That's not what they're doing. That's not what they're doing at all. Now, some people may have the benefit of working from home. Some jobs have pushed people into working from home, but every job isn't like that. There are a lot of jobs that are manual labor jobs, i.e. the job I'm doing right now where I'm driving a fucking truck all day. Not necessarily manual labor like I'm lifting shit all day, but I'm still driving. It still requires me to be out here, right? It's a requirement of the job. But people, this government, what you should see based on their behavior is that the worker bee is going to work. Sick, tired, worried, scared. No, you're going to take your motherfucking ass to work. Right? You can't tell the motherfucker you owe rent and light and gas to that, well, there, you know, there's corona scare, so I couldn't go to work. While they turning your shit off and giving you that eviction letter, they're not going to be giving a fuck about what you're talking about and how scared you are. The government isn't going to put any protections in place where people aren't able to turn off utilities or put you out of your home. They're not going to put nothing like that in place. But they will shut the schools down, you see. Because that's not making them hit their bottom lines. This is the game that they play. And as I watch people fear bond, not understanding the strength that we actually have as a people, and particularly you dealing with working class people would make up the most people in the whole country. We don't understand our strength. We don't understand our power. We just continue to be in a perpetual state of fear and allow these motherfuckers to do whatever they want. That's problematic to me. And it really, it disconnects me from human beings all the time. Like every time people get scared, I feel disconnected. I feel disconnected from everyone. People who run around here scared, no matter what the fear is, it disconnects me from people. That's something that I've struggled with ever since I decided to not be afraid of anything. Is that your lack of fear will always disconnect you from people. Thinking that the fear should be made into strength, made into power. Because you run you're everything. You do everything. You are the motherfucking mice that are in the wheels to keep this motherfucker turning. If you stop, this shit stops. That's the power that you have, that you don't understand, which keeps you in a perpetual state of fear at all times. You telling me you just started washing your hands because the motherfucker said this is a way to prevent the coronavirus, which is COVID-19, from being spread? You just started? And y'all know these motherfuckers in the caves, they're not clean anyway. Y'all know this. It's historical fact. They're not clean. You've seen too many stories about white folk running around here in them goddamn caves. The DOC are not clean like that. That's not their shit. It's not a part of their motherfucking culture. It's not a part of the things that they're raised doing. They some nasty motherfuckers. You don't start washing your hands because a disease is or a virus is brewing. That's not when you start. You don't start strengthening your immune system when the virus is brewing. This is constant work. There shouldn't be no urgent news to cover your fucking mouth when you sneezing or coughing. That shouldn't be something that the news media is having to come tell people. And if you look at the epidemics and the pandemics that are taking place across the world, you'd think by now the caves would be cleaning up their acts. They're still not going to clean up their motherfucking acts. Not going to happen. They don't care that their unsanitary behavior has led to epidemics, pandemics. They don't care. They're going to continue. And be mad when you don't give a fuck. We'll be mad when you don't give a fuck at all about what the fuck they're going through and what the fuck they're talking about. And you'll have black people who have fallen for this fear mindset who will be mad at your ass too. Period. Ain't nobody have to come tell me, well, don't be in large groups of motherfucking people. I don't fuck with people anyway. Not my life. Not my scene. Being around people drains my motherfucking spirit. So I ain't have to be told that. We're watching this shit play out. We're seeing how the media is talking about this virus. We're seeing how they're really gassing the situation up. But I can't blame them for gassing the situation up. They're doing their job to manipulate and confuse you. What I can do, though, is feel, a certain sense of anger at the fact that people still let the media do this shit. You still let these motherfuckers come in here and manipulate you on a regular basis, and you respond like you have no fucking sense. Tissue, why? Why? Hoarding supplies that regular people who may not be afraid, they just need a 4-pack. They just trying to make it through the week. It ain't there for them. Because you needed 1,000 rolls. Ridiculous behavior. But we continue to conduct ourselves in it. Now, of course, you got black folk gonna make their jokes and shit like that, gonna do their little memes and shit like that. I have no issue with that. There are people that are actually saying that black people ain't scared enough. Kind of criticizing black people for them not being afraid enough. And to me, we are afraid enough. We always afraid. If it wasn't for this, it'd be scared of hell and all this other shit. Scared of somebody watching your ass all the time. To me, we're in a constant state of fear. That's what's led the situation to be where it is right now. Is because we're always in a perpetual state of fear. It controls everything. If you were to, let's say, major in psychology, study psychology, then you will understand the effects of fear and how effective fear is into controlling people. It's just an effective method. That's all it is to it. It's very effective. But when we allow it to work consistently, when we allow them to tell us that the world gonna end, everybody gets scared. Every so often this happens. Oh, here's this disease. Everybody gets scared. Here's this virus. Everybody gets scared. That shit shouldn't be able to work. Now, I'm not saying that people aren't dying from this coronavirus. I'm not saying people aren't dying from it. But the people that are dying are the same people that die from pneumonia. The same people that die from the flu. People that have compromised immune systems. That's just all it is to it. People who don't have compromised immune systems, most people who have contracted the coronavirus, they're recovering. They're fine. They're alive. Because as you notice, they keep telling you about how many people contracting it, but they're not telling you about how many people are surviving, who make it through. Because if they start doing that, then y'all might not be so scared. And if y'all not so scared, then they lose their power. It doesn't matter. I refuse to be controlled by fear. I refuse to even acknowledge fear. That's me. And people think something wrong with me. But I'll be damned. Now, I know people are out here. They're going to be spreading around certain different types of propaganda, certain different types of, fake news, essentially. That's what they're going to be doing to continue to promote this fear. And I'm just interested in seeing how far it goes. That's why I'm always in the observer's seat. I'm always just looking around. Just see how far this goes before we're done with this and we're on to something else. You know, that's the position I take on all this shit, really. Like, oh, we'll be on something else in a couple weeks. But right now, I'm watching us have impractical, illogical fear. And it's causing our behaviors to be hysterical. And it's like this all the time. Like, that's the part that bothers me. It's like this all the time. Anytime. These motherfuckers want y'all to be scared, y'all gonna act the same way. And at some point, you got to live above that propaganda and stop fear bonding. Stop alienating people because they're not afraid. That doesn't make any sense. But that's how the fuck I wanted to say it. I wanted to get that off my chest, man. Cause this shit it's really, really annoying to me. And with the way I look at the world, and I know some may deem it as, something being wrong with me, or I'm obtuse, or, something. But it's like, I don't understand fear. I don't get it. When I decided to put fear down, I decided to put all of it down. I laid that shit down. And I ain't scared of shit. To me, that's the only way you can achieve true power. You gotta put fear down first, or you'll always be controlled by it. And at some point, I'm hoping that us as people will look out here in this world, how this media and how this government conducts itself, and how it has no regard for you. How you gonna make it? How you gonna eat? How you gonna make a living? They have no regard for you. They don't have no regard for your kids. Who your kids gonna be with? If you don't have sick leave, or if you don't have the vacation time, who the fuck your kids gonna be with? They don't give a fuck about your damn kids. Or they let you be at home with them. They're not doing that. They don't give a fuck. So why do y'all listen to people that you know don't give a fuck about you? Y'all scared as hell, and we need to put that shit down. Alright, that's the moral to the motherfucking story. That's all I want to say. I know that shit was longer, so if you made it to this point, I appreciate you for hearing me out. Y'all like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Links to follow me on social media in the description box. Black first, second, and third. Shout out Team Rob. Y'all already know what the fuck it is. I'm out.